Hey everyone, Kathy Judd here. So today I'm doing a craft room tour. I've kind of hesitated and put this off for a while. I love my craft room and I'm happy in there, and so that's kind of the reasons why I put off doing this is because I love my craft room, but then I realized that those are the reasons why I probably should do a craft room tour, so that you can see that even though I don't have top of the line furniture and I don't have every craft item available, that I'm happy in here. And so that's what you should be striving for, is creating a room that you're happy in. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll walk in here, and hopefully I won't do this too quickly and make anybody seasick, but I'll do a quick little pan in here just so you can kind of see what you're going to be looking at. And then we'll go around the room a little bit slower. So while I'm panning here, I have a little girl behind me who's going to help me out today. And it's my 12-year-old daughter, Erin. In fact, I'll turn around and let you say hi to her. Hello. There she is, isn't she cute? And she's going to be my second set of hands in case I can't open or pull something out so that you can have a look. So anyhow, here she is, and she's excited to be here to help today. And we also have another little guest that snuck in, and this is Dusty, but we actually call her Pudgy these days. It's kind of funny. She has a little waddle under her belly, and so one day I called her Pudgy with the waddle, and so now people call her Pudge. The name kind of stuck because she's so cute. Anyhow, but if you hear her meowing or talking, she just does that. So we'll go ahead and start here. When you come into my French doors, I have a little basket down here on the floor. I just love baskets. I think they're cute. We'll take this first unit. And up here on the top, you'll see my Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, and this is where I do all of my trimming, and I tend to make kind of a mess. So you're getting a treat today as you're seeing me all cleaned up, which is unusual, right, Erin? I'm usually pretty messy. And then we'll pan down here, and you can kind of see this is just a holding spot. So I have a stack of stamps here. In fact, what's kind of fun is this little package right here. In fact, we'll open it really quickly. I have never, ever won a giveaway before, but I entered one with Stampin' Up! Not Stampin' Up!, I'm sorry, My Peak Stamper, and I actually won. I was so surprised and got this really adorable stamp set for free from her. So I know she's not really active on YouTube these days, but I just love her. She's always been so down to earth and fun to watch. And then this next little shelf here, you'll see my Xyron. And you'll also see to the left here some of my little samples from my Etsy store. I always sample everything before I sell it. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the absolute best product before I sell it to you. And then on the other side is just my emergency lipstick and nail polish in case of a, lipstick or nail polish emergency, right, Erin? Yeah. Okay, and then we'll come down here, and on this shelf, this is one of my favorite shelves. This is where I keep all of my framelits on this side and my stamps on this side. And you'll notice, like if I pull one of these out here, this is for the Winter Owl for Lawn Fawn. You'll see this little S here, and that just reminds me that I have a matching stamp that goes with it. So if you come to the other side, you'll also see on some of my stamp sets that I have a little sticker that has an F, which means framelit, so that I can remind myself that there's a matching framelit for that. And so you'll probably recognize a lot. Oh, this one I haven't done a card for yet, but I'm excited to try. But anyhow, so you'll probably recognize some of these stamp sets. I also have some Stampin' Up! Ones here in the back. And we'll put that back. I'm not going to go through everything today because I figure that might be a little bit boring. But then down here on the bottom, you'll see these are my Stampin' Up! Punches. And also kind of towards the back, I have some older stamp sets that I use. And our little visitor here, isn't she cute? Dusty. So anyhow, those are some of my stamp sets in the back. I'll go ahead and stick those back. Ones that I don't use as frequently. Some of them are holidays, so they'll come out in the holiday time. And we'll come back up here to the top, and you can see on this next unit, and most of my units are from Michaels or from like these two that you're seeing here, were purchased from Michaels, and they're little pieces that attach together. And then same with the little carousel, and I have two of them in my room. And then the wall units that you're going to see are just made by Closet Made, and so you can pick them up like at Fred Meyer or Target, or I think they even sell them at Walmart. So anyhow, here's this carousel, and usually I stick the stamp sets that I haven't had a chance to do a card for. So these just came in the mail, these three, so I'm really excited to play with them. Oops, I knocked one of them down. Can I get it, Erin? Thank you. And so if you spin that around, you'll just see some of the extra things that I have hanging out here, just waiting to be used, or some old product that I haven't had a chance to play with. And I also have my hole punch and corner chopper here. I'm not sure if you're too interested in the drawers, but I keep my extra little tabs here so that I remember to keep my little filing system going. And this side is a little picture of my kids. In fact, they're all grown up, well, older. My son here, he's 18, and then this daughter is 16, and this daughter is 14, and this is Erin over here, my 12-year-old, and my 10-year-old wasn't born yet, so he's not in the picture yet. or not born yet. He's in the negatives, right, Aaron? So we come down here a little bit lower, and these are my Stephanie Bernard stamp sets. Actually, they're made, she made them. I'm gonna try and pull them out. We might not be able to get them back in for the picture, but she designed some sets for Sizzix, so you've probably seen a lot of these before. But I love them because they have the framelits and the stamps right in the set. Isn't that adorable? We'll show one more, and then we'll put them back. You wanna slide them back in for me, Erin? And then next to that, they're a little tight in there. Thank you, hun. You'll see this next little set, and we'll just pull out one of them. In fact, it's the top one that I want you to see. So cute. These are the Close to My Heart stamp sets that I have. I love the paper doll set. Isn't that the sweetest thing? I'll have to show you on my other wall what I did with it. You can slide that back in, and I have about 9 of these. 3 came with my Cricut Artiste cartridge, and 3 came with my Cricut Philosophy cartridge, and then I bought a couple on my own. I don't have everything, you know, a lot of Close to My Heart stuff, but I still think that their stuff's really cute. Am I talking too fast? Because I feel like I am. Whew! Gotta get it all in there. And then more Stampin' Up! Sets. We'll just pull one out so you can get a quick little peek of one of them. This is a fun holiday one. These are some of their older sets. You'll notice the cases are different than the newer ones. Very fun. One more. Another one that I love. You've probably seen it in my videos before. And then just extra stamps that really don't have a home right now. I just have to figure out what I want to do with them. And then down here at the very bottom are some of my 12 by 12 paper packs. And we'll slide to the side here. This is just business junk. And then up here on the side of this unit, you'll see my craft mats, my Tim Holtz one, and some other mats just hanging on the wall. You're going to notice as we go through that I have a lot of creative interests. So it's not just paper crafting, I do a lot of things. And this unit kind of shows a little bit of an eclectic of all of it. Up here at the very, very top, that left bin up here, this is just kind of an assortment of general crafting supplies. So this is like helping with school projects and, you know, raffia and doilies and bookbinder clips, weird stuff. And then this middle one here, this one is glitter and embossing, some extra stuff. And the very top one is some of the inks that I don't use as frequently. So there's some Jenny Bolin inks and there's some Cat's Eye inks. I love them, but I don't use them as often as I do my other ink pads. And then over here at the very, very top, you'll see that I have some EC Shape Studio punches. So you can make your own little bubble cap embellishments. And then embroidery floss. And I have a chalkboard and a whiteboard here in my craft room. And so the kids can go to this bin and they can get chalk and erasers and whiteboard markers, and they have fun with that, right, Erin? Mm-hmm. And then my next shelf here, we have my glue guns. I have a small glue gun and a big glue gun that seems to cover, well, in a hot temp and a low temp, which tends to cover all of my crafting needs. And then below that one is my label maker. And then over here we have floral design supplies. When I was in college, I took every floral design class that I could take. I just couldn't get enough of it. I loved it. Which has actually been really helpful when my son has gone to the prom and to homecoming. I've been able to make his dates corsages, and that's been so much fun. Down here has my seed beads and my sequins, and some of my kids are pretty familiar with this bin because whenever they say that they're bored, I let them sort sequins for me. So there's a big huge bag of sequins in here that they can sort into these little containers, which I know they love, right? And then in this top one here, this is my, you'll see my two-tone May Arts ribbon in here, and also my Baker's or Trendy Twine, whatever you want to call it, is also in the same container. And down here is just kind of an assortment of jewelry supplies. I'm kind of new at jewelry making, but some of my girls are really into that. And then to the left here, you'll see I have these are little containers you can buy at Michael's and Joann's that I just store my brads in, and I have them in there by size, specialty, small, big. And then we come down to this next shelf. Erin, you'll have to do that a little higher. There's Erin's hand saying, look. I have my adhesives, and Erin has kind of reorganized them for me so that you can kind of see what's in here. To the side of that, I have my little mini Xyron refills, Mod Podge, Gooby Gone, and you have to get some Gooby Gone if you don't have any. If you don't have any, you're probably stressing out as a crafter because this is great for cleaning off sticky off of your spatula or your scissors. So pick up a little bottle of this and it lasts forever. I barely use any on a paper towel and it cleans my tools like right off. To the side of that, I have a big bucket full of like scissors and hole punches and junk. And then down here are my craft sleeves and my Ziplocs. And I use some of these sleeves when I'm protecting cards that I've made. Just kind of keeps them from getting damaged as I move them around in the box. And this is just envelopes. Not really exciting. Down below in here on my next unit, I have some basic shape punches, and I'll just pull this out really quick. You probably recognize it's mostly Fiskars, but this is circles and squares. And then down below that, if you like Prima flowers, I have some punches that will make Prima flowers for me, which I just love making my own flowers. To the side here, you'll see I have my Dewdrops and Crystal crystals and stud setter. Isn't stud setter a funny word? Pulling out my stud setter. Anyhow, that's in that bin. And below that is my the Your Story bookbinder, which is really fun. If you haven't ever heard of that, Google it and see it. It's fun to play with. And here's another section. Don't you love my designer boxes? This is my ribbon that is not stored in a nice, beautiful place, but this is where it is for now. And Erin kind of cleaned this one up for me because she's my little organizer so that we can get to that easier. And then down here on this shelf, I have some embellishments. This is just some brads in this container, and then the one behind it is the same. And then here I have organized my Stampin' Up! Buttons by color so that I can get to them quickly. And it's just prettier that way. And then just some extra little long embellishments. And then this is one of my favorite bins, and it's kind of a mess. But this is where, my stickers! My stickers and my gems and just fun little embellishments. And they're all just tossed in here. Transfers, lots of fun gems and things. And then we have my crimper, and this is another fun bin. It's full of glass rocks and stuff, and that's great when I'm doing floral design or just feeling a jar full of them so I can stick some fun little candy treats in there for a party. I love to do parties. And then down here in this little unit, up here is just, you know, that Cricut sticky paper. I'm not sure if you saw it. I haven't really played with it that much. In fact, I don't even think they sell it anymore, but it's here. And then in here I have my my small paper pads, specialty paper, so like vellum and other paper that's sold by the sheet. Bottom one is also specialty paper and solid paper. And then to the side here, I have my Inktense pencils, regular pencils, and just some colored pens. And then these aren't very excited. That's just pop dots and other blank cards and envelopes. And down here at the bottom is just more specialty pens. Down at the very, very bottom, I have another unit that has paper in it, and it's just pads. And to the side, we have the children's jewelry supplies, and this is also paper that my kids can get into. As I have 5 of them, they often are doing craft projects as well. And I have a certain set of paper that's a little more pricey that I don't let them play with, but they know that this stuff is free reign and they can use it. So back up here to the top, and on our way, I have a little thin divider, or a little thin, this is actually to hang pants on, but I use it to hang my thin skinny ribbon on. And then my next unit. So I am a painting instructor, and so I always keep extra paint at the house. So if I'm having somebody come to paint and they haven't brought anything with them, or they run out of a color, they know that they can just for a couple of bucks buy it from me. And I just charge exactly what I pay for it at the store, so I'm not making a buck on it, but that's fine. They're coming to my house to learn how to paint, and I'm glad that they're paying me to provide that service for them. So at the very, very top, nothing really exciting. The very top container there is just ATG gun, refills, snail, Tombow refills. Some extra cards that I've made. The other 2 boxes, one has craft fabric bags in it. These are really high, so I usually call one of my 6-footer men in to my oldest son or my husband to pull things down for me because I can't reach them. Curling ribbon and craft sacks. And then down here, again, some more of those beautiful designer containers. This is all the paint that I have that is opened. Well, not all of it, but some of it. And then these are some stamp sets that I'm not using right now. They're ones that I've used in the past, but I do refer to them sometimes when I want something. So something specific, like something for holidays or whatever. Anyhow, extra stamps. So we showed off our paint. If you're familiar with paint, I have fabric, enamel, and HD, which is kind of gives you the same feel of oil painting without the nasty smell. And then down here we have more of my acrylic paint, and it's kind of just laying along here, and at the end is just business supplies. On my next shelf, I have paintbrushes that have been opened and cleaned, and then below that are brand new paintbrushes that haven't been opened. More business supplies, same here. And then this box has quilt squares in it. And my bottom shelf here, we have painting books and junk and a sketchbook, Cuttlebug, watercolor paper, Cuttlebug supplies, and a bias tape maker. On the very, very bottom, we kind of hit my iris folding section, tea lights, and more craft books. Down here on the very bottom, we'll do that quickly. Of course, we have music, and just a quick little shout out to my cousin Lulo. He's a gypsy jazz guitarist. He's related to Django Reinhardt, if you've ever heard of him. Some of my paintings are in the back down here. When I teach a class, I always have a sample to show my class. So I just pull out my sample and away we go. And of course my ironing board, because I'm also a sewer. So this is my favorite wall right here. You'll see my stamps up at the top. These are my Stampin' Up! Stamps. They come in these new containers. I just love them. And my stamps are just organized by color. And I like them here. I considered getting the Stampin' Up! Unit, but I was thinking it was kind of pricey, and also where would I put it? But I have plenty of wall space, so I thought, let's get it up, right? I also have my reinkers. I don't know if you're willing to see things up close. It's probably hard to tell what's in here. Reinkers in this bowl, my Stamp-O-Majig stamp cleaner. So quick little shout out to my Stampin' Up! Business while I'm here. So I have 3 days left to meet a sales goal. And if I don't, I lose my chance to be a demonstrator. So boo-hoo-hoo, that's kind of sad, and I don't want to lose lose that opportunity. So if you have been considering buying some Stampin' Up! Supplies, I'd love it if you'd look down below and consider making a purchase with me. If you already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please don't though. I want you to stay loyal to your own demonstrator. But if you're looking for something and you have considered it and just haven't got around to it, I'm kind of a no pressure saleswoman, which is probably why I haven't met my goal, but I would be a good person to go to if you're a little more quiet and maybe you don't want to throw parties and things like that, because that kind of isn't my thing either. So anyhow, consider me. I'd love it. While I'm panning here, I have some charts that this is one I printed off, and it shows all the different stamp colors for Stampin' Up! That I have. This one shows my Momointo inks, and then over here I was kind of blending 2 inks together to kind of see what kind of an effect I'd get. I love just having a quick little reference if I want to stamp something and I can see how well inks blend together. And then back up here, my Mimi stamps, of course. And then on the I love the wooden stamps. I just think they're so beautiful. Am I talking too much? I guess it's okay since it's my video. Up at the very, very top, I have more stamps. We'll just pan those really fast. A lot of my background stamps are up here, up high. And then in the middle shelf, I kind of tried to organize them. So up here is kind of Christmas, and down here is kind of happy birthday. And over here, trying to categorize them was difficult for me, but just kind of stamps that are more decorative. You know, I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. Valentine's Day and Easter, friendship and flowers, sentiments that are just like word sentiments, more word sentiments here. Up higher, some leaves and flowers, butterflies and owls, and some more word stamps here. And just some Mary Englebright, some other sentiment stamps, baby, anniversary, and then we just kind of get into some of my older stamps. I just think the wood ones are so beautiful. Down here I have a ribbon organizer, and anything else on the floor that you want to see? Oh, look at this nasty mark on my wall. Ugh, so mad about it. It's my fault. I spilled some paint one day. Down here are other projects for classes that I've taught, and then we're going to come over here to my easel where Erin is hanging out. This is where I paint. Erin, do you want to hop down for just a minute, hun? Oh, she's showing off my pastels. Erin loves to come and sit and color with pastels, and I have lots of clips.
It's not coloring, it's drawing.
I'm sorry, it's drying. Down here on the bottom is kind of a mess, but it's where I have my notebooks. I use the newsprint when I'm teaching a class. Way down here you'll see I have like demonstrator, when I'm teaching someone how to make leaves or something, I have reference charts that I use for that. And then back up here, oh, it's another of my paintings, another class teaching demo. Favorite card. I'll pan back really quickly. I did make the curtains for this room because I like to sew as well. So love the sharers. I did make those. Aren't they pretty and simple? And this is kind of a mess, but this is one of those old lazy Susans so that I can, oh, it's kind of pushed forward, but it spins so that I can get to it when I want to. Just circulate my paint, and I have lots of buckets just in case students forget their own. And up here we go. So let's pan this really quickly. This is cards that I made for inspiration. Oh, this is that stamps that I was talking about that had the paper dolls. Isn't it adorable? I just love it. Some earrings from a friend, a baby shower invitation that I loved, and then a note from a friend of mine who passed away. I keep it up here because to think of her, and some other things that just give, you know, cards I've made in the past that give me inspiration. And then up here is, very top shelf, is a little love stack that my mom made for Valentine's Day this year, and a card that you just saw in a video. And there's my distress inks up on top, stickles, and you're kind of seeing all my Cricut cartridges as we go. Most of my Cricut cartridges are now online, but I have some of the physical ones, which are great if there's any kind of a internet problem. I will be sad. I'll still be able to craft. Embossing powders, more embossing powders, some embellishments, and some of those little micro beads by Martha Stewart. Let's come back over here. I hope you're not getting sick on me, but more cartridges down here on this row, so I'm not going too slow since you probably don't want to see that. This is for my Etsy store. I make soap and lip glosses, and so this is where I store my fragrances and my soap colorants and my lip tints and my lip colorants. And up in these two bins, this is where I store my, I'll try to pull one of them down, my 6x6 pads. So that's what's in both of these, is just 6x6 pads. And so we'll pan back down here, and this is an organizer. Oh, I made this one, by the way, and I also made this one. So these are just taking, I don't know if you can get a shot of that, but it's pretty big. I just took a canvas and I covered it with fabric, made different little pockets to go on top of it, and it organizes everything. And here's my darling daughter again with her little bookmark. She won the contest for the library, and right?
It's still at the library.
And it's still at the library. So you can still get her bookmark. She did such a wonderful job. And then down here is my Cricut. Oh, put the cover back on, you turkey. I made the cover for my Cricut Expression 2. I like everything to be matchy-matchy. And then down at the bottom, I don't know if you're going to see in there, that's mostly just my business supplies. But I will quickly toot my own horn here. I have a couple of new flavors in my store. This is chocolate truffle, if you love lip balms. I also have wedding cake and blackberry and red velvet cake. And then to my next window. So up here, this is just from Hobby Lobby, a fun little butterfly that I have hanging in the window. And back down here, this is just where I store my empty cases for my lip glosses and stuff like that. Some of my card storage. I don't think I've ever shown this one. I always love this one. It's made with, oh, my brain, what are they called? This is not good in the middle of a video. Yeah, they're called cards. Thanks, Erin. I'm talking about the medium that I use. I'll have to think about it and remember. I can't remember. This area is a little messy. This is my sewing area. Just my ribbons and twines and laces and rickrack, you know, your bias tape, and I make a lot of my bias tape, but I have some for when I do kids' aprons and things, and then there's some Velcro and such back there. And then down here, these two boxes hold patterns. Let's see, up here we go. This is a project I just finished. I want to adjust the pattern. It's one of those quilted crayon bags, so you put the coloring books inside and then you put the crayons on the outside. They're super cute, but I'm having a little trouble with how the pattern's working. I want it to be a little bit looser on the ends. Up here I just have a shelf. Not a lot on there right now as I just barely got it hung. I think it's super cute, but even though it's supposed to be this way, it feels like it's upside down to me. I don't know why. Anyhow, down here, thread, buttons, my sewing machine, and I made the cover for that as well. And also a matching pin cushion to go with it. And this is my big window. I'll try to pan back a little bit. Just some of the things that I've made are in the window. This is just extra thread right here. And then these drawers, they're kind of messy, the zippers, and I'm not going to open the bottom two because I know they're a mess, but just more sewing supplies. My box for crochet and cross stitch, and there's just some polyfill. These three boxes right here hold my fabric, and it's my heavier fabrics like fleece, yeah, fleece, pillow forms, big things. And then on this little unit back here, oops, it has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves full of fabric. And then the top one is projects that I'm working on or have finished. When my friends have babies, I like to make burp cloths for them. I just love the flannel. So if you don't know this trick, make some flannel burp cloths, because then the flannel absorbs the spit up and then doesn't roll onto the floor or roll down your shirt. It just goes right into the flannel. Up at the top is where my Prima flowers are, just by color order. So we've made it all the way around the room. And my daughter is eating contraband. Yummy. What? M&M's, contraband. Oh. And we'll come here to the middle of the room. So this first little unit right here is my paper. On the very bottom is all of my Stampin' Up! Paper. And I actually put my Stampin' Up! Scraps like right in front. So if I've used the Marina Mist here, the scraps for it are just in the front of it. I'll give you an example here. There's my Melon Mamba scraps right in front. And then this top one is everything else that is not Stampin' Up! So I have 2 folders per color. So like here's my red, and it's just all the solids in the red color. And then before that, all of the red pattern paper that I want to have my scraps organized and use my stuff. I don't want to be wasteful, so that's why it's here. And then I wanted to show you something. Erin's holding it for me. So many people don't seem to believe that when you don't store your craft paper, your cardstock, out of the light, that it won't fade. So I did a little demonstration here on accident. I left these two items in the window, and this crayon box was yellow. And now it is white because it has faded, because they were left in the sun. And you can see the same thing up here. You can see that there's two tones, green and blue. It's not supposed to be that way. So hopefully you can see that it is important that you keep your cardstock out of the sunlight, or your projects out of the sunlight, so that they don't fade like that. Oh, down here on the bottom is just where I have my scoring and cutting board, or not cutting boards, my envelope maker. Up here is my other little spinner, just full of the supplies that I use the most often. So you can just see, not really exciting, just craft tools. Okay, it is exciting. Craft tools are exciting, right? And then this unit back here, thanks, hon. The very bottom drawer here has my H2Os and then craft blocks and then my little Tim Holtz sponges. Yeah, it's a kind of a watercolor container. Down here is where I have my Memento inks, as well as down at the bottom here, Memento on the left, and then I have Tim Holtz inks and my StazOn inks. And up here is my VersaFine and some other stamp pads, and then in the back is the Memento. My little finger daubers, the ones that I'm keeping by color. And then I only have 2 of these, and that may seem silly to you, but I didn't really see a need to have a zillion of them when the pads are replaceable and they come off and on, and I'm good with that. I don't need a zillion of them. I don't want to have to store them. It's easy that way. Up here, markers. The first little cubby here on the left is some gel markers, and then these are all the Tim Holtz markers that I have, and some Stampin' Up! At the end, some gel markers. And then these ones I love. These are the La Plume alcohol-based markers. If you haven't had a try with those, they have a great tip that's nice and flexible, so I have a lot of those colors. And those I picked up at Ben Franklin. Some more gel markers and a few Copics. I don't carry many Copics. I love them, but they're kind of pricey for me, so I've just decided to use the Spectrum Noir. Up here are some more Stampin' Up! Markers, which match the stamp pads. And then these are the Tim Holtz Spring distress markers. I love the spring colors. They're so bright and cheerful. And then these fun little boxes are some fun little stamps that I have made by Too Berry Creative. If you want to give them a quick little Google too. I love the beautiful cases, and I love to just use those stamps. They're so easy to pull out, you know. Here on the side, I have, if you saw my last video, my last one, it was the one before last, two videos ago. I could not remember the name of this, so I have little swatch books here. So the word is swatch book. You can see if I open up the first little page for you, so that when I look at it, I can see the kiss mark is that I have the stamp pad. And then it shows that I have the cardstock, and I have 2 ribbons in that color. And I love this. It's a great reference when I want to make something. I can quickly flip through it, and it's compact. So I can quickly tuck this in my purse if I'm going to the store and I know I want to match cardstock or match something with that specific paper. It's really easy, really portable. And then I have another one back here that I showed in that other video that shows my distress markers and my Inktense pencils. Just a little bit of color so I can watch it fade and kind of know how I want to use it. Down here, let's see, we've got my mini Xyron, my Martha Stewart Heart Punch, and my Peace Rock to remind me that this is my peaceful place. It's supposed to stay nice and calm in here. And then, let's see, gelatos, Spectrum Noir markers, my little stamp runners, and my embossing powder that I'm always forgetting to use, even though you should use it. Yeah. Let's see, I'm always using that washi tape just for like my Cuttlebug and such. I have some more pens back here. If you didn't know it, the Bic Markets are also alcohol based. They give a beautiful smooth color. Lotion, stamp cleaners, and you know, the little enamel accents. Those are great. Baby wipes, tape, and another thing to help me relax when I'm in here, because this is supposed to be my happy place. Pick that up at the beach. And a fun little card, and my embossing gun. So I think we've done the whole tour, right, Erin? Probably don't need a view of the garbage can, but there it is. And Erin's feet. Anyhow, one more quick pan, and you can kind of see my room one more time. So I hope that you've had fun watching, and that you've realized that things aren't perfect in here, but that is a space that I'm happy in. I love to be in here, and it doesn't need to be perfect for me, because it actually is perfect for me. Not very pricey. You know, those units up there on the wall, when they're on sale, they're about $12, regularly 15 or 16, depending on where you go. It works for me. I'd rather spend my money on the supplies, and I also have a big family, so I have to budget. Anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed watching and have seen something fun. And we'll say goodbye to my little girl who's still munching on M&Ms over here. And thank you again for watching. I hope you have a nice afternoon. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.